Welcome to Brewsers, a podcast about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. I'm your host, Rudy John, and today we talk to Jana Finkbiner. We talk all about her beginnings as an athlete, the boxing world, and so much more. This is such an amazing conversation. She not only has a podcast, she has her own boxing promotion. They have their own newsletter. They have everything, and she's also an amazing trainer on top of that. But we'll obviously get into all of that here shortly, but definitely this is going to be an amazing episode, and you're going to love it. While you're doing that, make sure to sign up for our newsletter. It comes out twice a week. You get even more information about our guests. You get fun facts, and you get to find out what's happening with your favorite podcast, all about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. So without further ado, here is Jana Finkbiner. I would like to welcome to the show Jana Finkbiner. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So for those listening, kind of paint us a word picture. Where are you at? What's going on around you? I can see what's happening. It's beautiful, but to kind of paint us a word picture for everybody who can't see us.
Right. Okay. So, like my current location where
Yes,
I am.
ma'am. Yeah.
So I'm currently situated in my cozy chair at home, Vancouver, BC, Canada. I've got a lovely brick wall and a reclaimed, distressed bar behind me, and I got all the good stuff. We got all the good stuff on it. Nice whiskeys, nice rums, little Negroni mixtures. And it's a beautiful afternoon here. It's about 20 degrees, not Texas weather, but
that's Celsius though, not here in America.
That's Celsius. Do you guys? That's what is that for you? That's about 70.
Okay, so you double it, 80? And then you do what?
Oh Jesus, I have no idea. I can't remember. I can't remember, but I know it's low 80s for y'all, and it is a nice day. But we've had a slow start to summer, so we're just we're waiting for it to get a little warmer here. And yeah, that's me. That's where I'm coming from.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, same here in North Texas. We are. It's been raining a lot, which is fantastic. And I just got AC back fully today, so that's even better.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm looking at the clock in my room here. It has a temperature on it, 64 degrees in this room. It's fantastic.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's Fahrenheit, obviously. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
Celsius. I guess half, and then whatever else you
17 or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Something like that.
Wow, that makes it seem so much colder than it actually is. Well, I have a quick segment on the show. I call it the 5 count. It's 5 random questions. We'll start here, and then we'll get into the heavy hitting stuff.
Oh, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. What song do you car karaoke to?
Oh man, that's a really good one. I mean, I'm not much of a rapper, but anytime Survival of the Fittest comes on, my Mobb Deep, I'm in there pretty dirty.
Look at you.
And then I actually, my very first gig ever, the first job I kind of ever did, I was actually a professional singer. So if I'm interested in opening up the pipes, then oh man, maybe some Bill Withers,
wow,
or like whatever comes on. I have a little, I have a singing streak in me.
Okay, I want to get into that later. Forget all the other questions I had. This is way more. Okay. If you owned a liquor company, brewery, winery, or coffee shop, which one would you own, and what would the name be?
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I might have to go. I might have to go coffee shop.
Okay.
And I think I would have to do some kind of play on like From Dusk Till Dawn, like something like like Rising from the Dead kind of thing. Right. It would have to be maybe like Zombie Juice or something like that.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah, something like that, because that's often how I feel before I sip my first cup in the morning.
Right. There are times that I start my day and I haven't had a drop at all, and like an hour in, I'm like, what am I doing? What?
Yeah. Why have I chosen this path? Exactly.
What are the last 3 things you Googled?
So I was making a reel about I do these things called the boxing updates you didn't know you needed, and I was doing they're comedic look at current events in boxing, and
right.
I was ripping on Tyson Fury face planting outside of a club, and then Ryan Garcia getting arrested for trashing the Waldorf in LA. And so I was looking for the original soundbite of the "Help, I've fallen and I can't get up" from the Help line.
from the old person
Yeah,
commercial where they press. Yeah, yeah.
exactly, exactly. So that's an embarrassing one, but there we go. So I had that one, last three things. And then oh, it might have been how long to sous vide my eye round roast that I had
I'm not a
going.
fan of sous vide. To me, it tastes like you can still feel like it's underwater. I don't know.
No, no, I'm telling you, it is the future. Sous
Okay.
vide
Okay.
is just it is the most. It can take like kind of an average cut and make
Right.
it A grade, and then you just finish it, sear it. It's perfect. So it's
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's about how you season it.
that's
So
true.
it's very likely a sous vide temperature. And then yeah, and then some flights. I've got one of my best friends is getting married in Kelowna.
That's awesome.
And so we were getting some flights going, and that would be the last three things I was Googling.
That's awesome.
Some real diversity there.
There is. I love it. Yeah. I mean, as people's Google searches really should be. It should be all over the place.
Yeah.
Who or what inspires you?
Oh man. Okay, this is a good one. I have to say my partner is really inspiring. He is my strength and conditioning coach. Um
Awesome.
and yeah, he's just got like crazy work ethic, and he's a bro, but he's a cerebral bro. So we call him Cerebro.
Cerebral
Um
bro.
Cerebro, yeah. So he's super inspiring. He's a really smart guy. He's got a crazy work ethic. And then to be honest with you, just all my training partners. It's just kind of like it definitely really is an iron sharpens iron, thing in there. And sometimes you go in feeling like a cotton ball and you come out feeling unstoppable. And I think I owe a lot of that to my training partners.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what would you tell your 17-year-old self?
Oh man, stop wasting so much time, you know, fucking hating on yourself. Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
This is
great,
about
great.
drinking.
Okay.
We can do
That's what
whatever
I
the fuck
thought.
we
I was
want.
like, I'm pretty sure this is a little loose that way.
Yes.
Yeah, stop wasting time fucking hating yourself, or picking yourself apart, or I think what's crazy is how people if how people talk to themselves. And
Yes.
I didn't classically talk to myself very nicely. And I feel, I would tell myself, I'd slap myself, like, stop wasting time doing that. So yeah, that was a big one for me.
I think you could tell that to yourself at any age. Like,
True. So
like
true.
2 weeks ago, I was, lucky enough to be working a wrestling show, and I asked somebody else afterwards. I was like, I always like to kind of pick people's brains. Hey, what do you think? How do you think I did? Blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And it was like, all right, well, let me know what you think. Besides the fact that I sucked, and he was like, well, first off, don't tell yourself that. And I was like, you're
Yeah.
right. It's the old Bruce Lee quote. It's like your body doesn't know you're actually joking because it takes in all the bad energy that you're putting out. It's taking it back in, so you shouldn't be doing that to yourself at all. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't. It's just, you're making fun of yourself, but at the same time, you're like, I know I wasn't that bad, but
Yeah.
I don't want to put it out
Yeah.
there.
I know. I think, I generally have like a motto that kind of is like laugh to win. So I try to
Oh yeah.
inject as much humor as I can into my life and situations. I don't really take myself too seriously, but so I don't mind the old sarcasm,
Yeah.
but you got to know in your core that the how you actually address yourself is is positive and with love.
Right.
And I think we often need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves at any age, absolutely. But when you're young, I think like the thing about this sort of the mindset of is so everything's in absolutes. So
Yeah.
you can just absolutely spiral and shit, and then a month later you might have a wake up call, hopefully. But I feel like as an adult, part of like holding court for your internal affairs is like checking yourself before you wreck yourself, before
Right.
you spiral and you've wasted 24, 48, hopefully not longer than that. So
Yeah.
I think that is taking agency for that as an adult, I think is important.
Right. And then also looking back at like where you are, like what you've done, and like all the like you have to look back at your highlights because nobody's going to put a highlight reel together for you. I mean, eventually,
Exactly.
hopefully they will, but in your mind, you have to be like, okay, I did this. Oh, that was really cool. Oh, I also did this. That was really cool. But then like,
Hmm.
how is it leading up, and what have you learned, and the things you shouldn't do from each experience, and then continue that on to what you want to do, whatever you want to do in the future.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's go all the way back in time. I read that you've been athletic and performing in sports from a young age already. What is your earliest memory of being in sports or just being athletic in general?
What's so funny is my dad was really into like jujitsu when I was a little girl,
Wow.
and I just couldn't. I didn't. You know what? He always wanted to like. It was like it was like my red flags start going off. He's like, "Let me show you a move," right? And I'm like, "Oh God." So there was always some hardwood floor involved. You
Uh-huh.
don't want to do jujitsu on a hardwood floor. I'm
Right.
like, I'm like 7. I'm like,
Yeah.
Dad, I don't want to do this. So it's so funny how much I repelled his sort of exposing me to jujitsu as a little girl, and
Yeah.
then long story short, that's what I do now. But
Right.
yeah, it was being exposed to boxing. Again, it didn't quite sink in, but I was around the boxing club as a little girl. And then I think my first like team sport that I played like most North American kids, and well, maybe not even North American, but is soccer. We
Yeah. No, yeah.
we all just it's like the I think the lowest barrier to entry. It teaches you the most about relating to other kids. There's a team
Right.
element involved. And I actually played soccer for many years, probably 7 years at a Div 1
Oh.
level. And I ended up really loving soccer until I found basketball. And then I
Mm.
played basketball right up until college. I loved basketball so much.
What was it about that? What was it about playing with your hands for the ball as opposed to your feet that you enjoyed more? Was it because it's
Right.
inside and not outside? Because the floor is not as forgiving, I guess either way, really. But yeah, I guess
Well,
depending on what the field is.
that and like pubescent girls are fucking vicious
Oh,
creatures,
I've heard they're monsters. Yeah.
Oh my God, we would all leave with like scratch marks and black
Right.
eyes and bite marks. And we were like, it was insane. But you know what I loved about it? And this has always been my favorite thing when it came to sports is finesse. Something felt, so there was a real finesse and fluidity where that came with basketball it just grabbed me. And I think
Mm,
I wasn't ever like high level soccer because you can see that finesse in high level soccer, and
yes.
that's another ballgame altogether. But I never really felt like it hit me like basketball did. I'm very like skills focused and very finesse focused, and I'm not super scrappy. I don't want to brawl. I want to be a technician, and that was always how I approached sports. And I think basketball just felt that. I felt that finesse. I was a point guard, so I just love handling the ball. Um, and I love to run, and I prefer short distances to long distances. So we're running around the soccer field. Also, in Canada, you're playing outdoor soccer season. It's pissing rain and
Right.
freezing cold, and you're getting snowed on, and you're face planting and sliding out, and it was like rough. It felt very it was very Siberian. So I didn't love that. Like again, not a cold weather person, right? I was like,
Yeah.
fuck this shit, get me inside quick.
Well, also basketball is was created by a Canadian, as a lot of people may not know that. So, yeah,
Yes, exactly. So very Canadian.
yeah. I actually never looked into who actually started football or soccer, but there's no way it was an American, and I doubt it was a Canadian. No offense.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So you talked about being a boxer, and you seem to have obviously a passion for being a coach. When did you fully get into the boxing, and then at what point were you like, I'd rather coach people as opposed to getting the hits myself?
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting roller coaster. Like I got exposed to boxing kind of by accident. And I was like, again, there was this like it was hard, and there was this a
Mm.
super finesse and skill based element to it. And I was like obsessed with it. I thought this is the greatest thing ever. And not only that, I get to smash things. Like this is from God,
Get all your aggressions out. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the truth. But I wanted to get involved in a boxing club at the time, but I just didn't have I just didn't really have the confidence to just walk into a boxing club. And to be honest with you, at the time, I was maybe 21 or something. I didn't really know where to go in the city. And so I started just getting doing one-on-ones that with a friend. It's someone I ended up developing a relationship, a good friendship with. And, he really encouraged me and pushed me. And then I sought out kind of the next level coach from that. But I remember reaching out to a local boxing club that someone had said, hey, this is where you got to go. And um, the owner is a bit notorious, and he didn't really give me the time of day, and I kind of just said like I want to box, but I don't want to just come in and do your bag classes. I want to box, and I didn't really